Right guys, as you can see I've started the lanterns for the back end. I had a little attempt, a big attempt, bending the copper tubing that they give you. You can see my feeble efforts here. I did what they said, I warmed it up. No matter how I did it, it split either on the sides or on the back or on the bottom. And when it did fold, you can see how thin it is. You couldn't get 2 wires through there, I tried. So I have ordered some steel tubing, 2mm, which will be here tomorrow. So in the meantime, I'm going to carry on with the first lifeboat, which is the next stage anyway. So what I'll do is I'll put you on silent with some music and you can watch what I'm doing. Let me just get you in the right position first so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. Right. See you in a second. So while I'm waiting for my new tubing to arrive, I thought I'd carry on with this lifeboat. Now I just need to mark the centre line. Trying to work out what the best way is to do this. Okay, I think I've got it. So, very kindly because I put a marker on, but it didn't. That's not simple. I can see that here's the centre for this one. Here's the centre for this one. That's better. Don't worry about these markings, they'll get covered up in a second. I've just got to remember which one's the centre. That seems to be it. Right. And then we're going to use 0.5 by 3 mil, so it's like paper. So just let it overhang the back a little bit. Bring it up to the line. Guys, I thought I'd let you see. I just carried on with this because I'm pretty much filming the same thing over and over and over. So I've cut through these extra bits. You can see I put some filler on the outside of the hull, just on there, where I can see light coming through. On the inside I'll just rub it off. And I've extracted it from its base. I'm going to let it sit and set this filler for now. And then I shall trim it off and pardon me, I'll trim it off and then we'll get on to the next stage, which is the keel and the bow. So I'll go to break and I'll come back to you. Right guys, I seem to be jumping about quite a bit, but I've given this a coat of primer in and out, which is what I asked for next. Oh yeah, I put the keel and the bow piece in. So the next piece that will go in there is here. It goes in there somewhere. I've got to shape it, yep, and fix it up. But right now I am going to try and bend this steel tube to make the lights for the stern. So I'll give it a little try on first and then I'll show you what I'm doing. Right guys, done a couple of these little brackets and I'm going to try and show you how I'm doing them. I have to stress this is based on what I've seen done by other people. So I'll use my blowtorch to heat up the tubing so it just discolours a little bit like it's done there. Then pull, this is the hard part, pull the tubing back till the nice stained bit is in the middle, and then try and keep your hand away from the tubing because it's very hot, obviously. As you can see, it's not the simplest of things to bend. So they want 100 degrees. I think that's probably about 100 degrees. But I'll fine tune the three pieces so that all are the same. Just bump my finger now, and it stings. So I'm not touching it. Yeah, I can touch it down here. Here are the two that I did earlier. I think you can see I've got them. Those two are fairly well lined up, and I think that one's, yep, on the same line. So all I've got to do now is cut them all to the same length, and I've already tested on this first one the wire. That's where I put my piece of wire. I've got a little piece of leftover wire here, and you can see that where my finger is where the corner of the metal is. And you can see it goes past the corner. In fact, it's now coming out the other end, which is what I'm going to want for the two wires on here. When these have cooled down, I'll cut them to size and then we'll get them set on the ship. See you in a few seconds. Right guys, I'm back. You can see I've got the three lights assembled and secured to the ship. As well as that, I've been working on the little boat. There's all bits and pieces lying here. I cut this piece of paper out to the plan that they show you. I'm going to do that with you in a minute. But yeah, let you see these lights, see how effective they can be. Let me just reach in and switch the lights on. And then my building light, and you can see how good it is. How's that then? That's it in all its glory, look. It's quite effective, isn't it? When you see it in the dark like that. Yeah, quite pleased with that. So, okay, we'll carry on with the lifeboat, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Right now, they show the piece of paper, let's see here, it's covered with, let me just double check, don't want to get the wrong thing. Got the wrong instruction sheet now. This one's finished with, here we go. So, they show it with WV4, oh, and WV3. So what's WV3 is 0.5 by 2 and the other is 0.5 by, so the two middle ones are this 0.5 by 4. Get it right in a minute. 0.5 by 3 for the two centre ones, so we'll do them first. This is 0.5 by 3. I've never done this before, actually sticking it to paper. So, let me mark it with a pencil, I don't want to use a knife on it at this stage. I've got to find where I put everything. Here's the snips. Right. One for that side, and then turn that around, that'll be the one for the other side. Makes it easy, doesn't it? Make it just a little bit longer than it needs to be. In fact, let's do it like this. Mark it again with a pencil. They don't give you any indication as to how much space you should put between the planks. But they do show a pencil mark between the two. So right. Now what I'm going to do is, like I've done before, is oh, see, I must have got that one out. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue down. This doesn't need an awful lot, does it? So I'm sticking to paper, and this glue, as we know, will stick to just about anything. So. This is where I end up with glue everywhere. So they do it like that, and then they put a strong pencil line down here. And then we'll do the other one. And the great thing with this white glue is I use the rapid dry. Rapid dry for white glue means 30 minutes. So that doesn't mean you've got 30 minutes to work with it, I can assure you. So just leave it so you can see the pencil line. Do that. I'm going to put a pencil line on the outside of this one. a pencil line on the outside of this one. I know it's already starting to firm up, it's amazing. Right, I'm going to go and find some 0.5 by 2. I've got one little piece here, need more than that obviously. So, back to you in a second. Hi again guys, right, I just carried on making this lifeboat number 1. It hasn't been painted yet, it's only primer on the outside, paint on the inside. These crossbars fitted and all these little fittings in so far, including this piece which I did one that's under my fingernail. I did this on the lathe, so in the case of you measure the wood and then you take it down to 2 spindles on the end, you taper it and you drill some holes through it. And then I painted it in the famous 42, that red leather brown or whatever it is. And it's sitting there drying away. It hasn't been secured in yet. I made the little stand with a 1mm stick out bit on each end, front and back. They're marked so I know which is which. That's going to be fitted to the boat, but that'll be tomorrow. Not to say boat, this is a boat, that's a ship. So, okay, that's it for this week. If you like what I'm doing, please feel free to like, share and subscribe. I don't think there'll be very much being done over the next few days, as we've got some personal things to take care of. But more about that later. Okay, see you on the next one.